I'm Todd, and this is a review of the Marvero 500 count wooden cabinet humidor. Stick around to the end of the video to see how you can have a chance to win one of Marvero's Mega Humidors after this. Alright guys, I am here with the Marvero 500 count humidor. This is their newest model. Now I did do a review of a previous Marvero humidor, and I'll link that up here. And it did really well. It was actually a really nice humidor, and I'm expecting this one to be nice as well, because Marvero seems to put a lot of design and care into their humidors. So first we're going to go ahead and turn on this light, and just like the other Marvero, I really like the fact that this one has a battery pack that you can put batteries in to power it. You can also plug it in if you want, but I like the fact that it doesn't have to be plugged in for that light to function. All right, so let's give this a look over. Now, they do list this as 500 cigar capacity. However, I think we always know what they list and what's actual are not the same. This is probably more like a 400 cigar, I would guess. But something we'll be testing along the way, as we always do. So the door has that full 180-degree opening. Love that. Makes getting this stuff in and out real easy. It does have 4 of these full-size drawers, and these are large drawers, so it is going to hold a good quantity of sticks. And these are Spanish cedar, and you can see that is very thick. A lot of times the drawers are a lot thinner than this, but these are heavy, thick drawers. Smell fantastic. That Spanish cedar smells so good. So I'm expecting this to have definitely good capacity, and it's just going to be nice. Okay, so like I was saying, it does have 4 of those drawers. One of them does have the built-in hygrometer. We will be using our own hygrometer to test and make sure that it's accurate. Now, that's the one thing on the other Marvero that was off, is that hygrometer that came with it was not calibrated correctly. So we'll see what this one does. But aside from these 4 drawers and the large storage capacity and the nice strip lighting along the outside, which I like that the lights on the outside like this, so it lights up better. It's not the lights on top, a lot of times they don't really illuminate. So I like how they do their lighting. There's a couple of new features that are kind of innovative that I want to point out before we go into any testing or anything like that. So this bottom part here, you would think maybe is an accessory drawer with the knob. However, it's not. If we pull this out, we will see this has a lid. This is actually a separate humidor. So you have a standalone humidor within your larger humidor, which is great because, say, if you like some infused cigars and regular cigars, you don't want to mix those two in your humidor, because that oils and stuff they infuse them with can leak out and kind of affect your other cigars. But with this setup, you could actually keep your infused cigars in this separate little humidor on the bottom, other cigars at top. That's neat. I haven't seen a humidor that has a humidor within a humidor before, so I really like that feature. But if we look in here, we do have a few things that it comes with. It does come with some instructions. We don't ever read the instructions. It comes with some of the kind of old school, those humidifier blocks, but these are actually the ones that have the little beads inside them. So when you fill it with distilled water, those beads swell. So it kind of does more of a controlled release. These are a lot better than those kind of black ones with a sponge in them that we used to see. It does come with a couple of Boveda packs, a dropper, and a silicone pack. All right, so yes, I do like the fact it has this little separate humidor in it. That really stands out to me as something a little innovative. So we're going to take these drawers out because there's something else I want to show you about this humidor. All right, so you see that little USB port in there in that kind of shelf? Well, when we slide in that bottom kind of secondary humidor, it is shorter than the rest of the drawers because of the shelf, and the shelf is where the battery pack and stuff and the electronics sit in the humidor. But that USB port, if you look on the back, and we'll flip it around real quick, we see on the back, there's actually two USB-C BCs, right? And what it is this one powers the lights, but you can put batteries in there, which is what I did. So I don't need a plug to power that. The second one goes straight to that USB connector. So you use your USB-C here, you plug it into an outlet, and now that USB inside is powered up. And the significance of that is if you have something like a Cigar Oasis, an electronic humidifier, I think there's some other brands out there too. I think Cigar Oasis is just kind of the main one. You can actually plug in your USB and set your humidifier up here. So it's almost kind of like if you've ever been in like a large walk-in humidor and they have the humidifiers that put out mist, you can have one of those little ones like the Cigar Oasis in your Marvero cabinet. So that's pretty cool. I guess you could also hook up, like if you wanted extra lights in there that were USB driven, or like a USB fan or something like that. Anything USB powered, you could put in here and power. That's pretty cool. Okay, you should also see in that close-up the very nice Spanish cedar lining in this. Like I said, the drawers are nice, thick Spanish cedar. This is very well made. Again, it's like the other Marvero. It's got a nice heft to it. It just feels like it's got a quality build. Now the outside has this mahogany veneer, very nice, and it's got like this gold accent. It just looks great. One thing that is different is the other Marvero actually had like a magnetic attachment, so that when the door shut, it was magnetically held. This one, however, does not. This one goes with the more traditional, it's not really a tongue and groove, I don't know exactly what to call it, but it's got that fit, that tight fit with this lip, so that it adds suction when it closes. And I mean, it's got a pretty good seal, and you can see a light pull does not open it. You got to apply a little bit of pressure to get that open, because it does close nice and tight. And I expect that to be even better once this is seasoned and that wood swells a little bit. So that's just a quick overview. We are going to do a full test like we always do, and we are going to start out by seasoning. So I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to season this humidor. I'm going to use a method I've used a number of times in the past. We are going to take a new clean sponge. We have 2 containers, a container and the lid actually, but that's all we need. And we put distilled water in them. So we're going to soak up some distilled water on the sponge, leave the rest in there. And we're going to put these in here. Now, because of the size of this humidor, I'm going to use 2. A lot of times you can use 1 in a smaller humidor. After three or 4 days or so, it's good. But yeah, just with the sheer size of this, I'm going to use 2 sponges. And I'm going to put my hygrometer, because I know it's correct, in here. We can test that against the one that's included. So we'll let this sit for 3 or 4 days, and we'll check back and see where it's at. Okay guys, so this Marvero 500 count wooden humidor has been seasoning for the last 2 days. Now the hygrometer is reading 76%. My hygrometer also reads 76%. So we are seasoned and ready to go now. Next, we're going to load these drawers with some cigars and Boveda packs, and we're going to see how it maintains humidity. So let's go ahead and get our sponges out. And get cigars in here. All right, we're going to give this a week and see how it maintains humidity. All right, guys, I'm back with this new Marvero 500 count humidor. I've let this sit for 5 days now with the Boveda packs in it. I don't know, let's see, I'll turn off the light. Maybe it'll be easier to see. I'll try to zoom in. It says 69% humidity on the hygrometer that's in the humidor. And my hygrometer says 70%. So there you go. It's holding humidity really well here with just the Boveda packs. And 1% off. That could be a variety of reasons. Just the location of the hygrometer or whatever. I'm not worried about that 1% difference on the hygrometers. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the Boveda packs and I'm going to put in the humidifier bars that came with this. All right, so I got the 2 humidifier blocks that came with the humidor. Now, these have those little pellets in them that absorb water, but I did fill these with distilled water. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to utilize this ledge they have back here, and I'm going to put the blocks back on this ledge. Oh, so only one will fit there. So I'll put one back there. And the other I'll just put in a drawer. Put my hygrometer back in. Okay. And I'm going to shut this, go another 5 or 6 days, and we'll come back and see what it does with the humidifier blocks. All right, guys, I'm back. It's been 5 days, and this humidor has been sitting right between 69 and 71%, and right now it's at 71. We'll zoom in on that, and my hygrometer says 71%. So it has done outstanding with just the humidifier bars that I put on the back shelf. So that's all that's been humidifying this, is that bar and that bar, and it's done a great job. All right, so now we are going to do a couple of things. We're going to test this USB port in here that I talked about earlier, and we're also going to see how many cigars one of these drawers holds. I'll be right back. Okay, this USB port is a pretty innovative idea. So I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it's been like a couple weeks now or whatever, but the idea is you can use something like a Cigar Oasis, which is a little humidifier device that can plug into a USB, and you could put it in there and set it on the shelf, and that would humidify the humidor. Well, I don't have a Cigar Oasis or anything like that, and I was contemplating buying one to use on this, but the way I've seen it does such a great job with just the Boveda packs or even those humidifier bars, I just don't think I need to buy one, so I haven't. But I still want to test that port and make sure it works, so I'm going to get a different USB plug-in device and see how it goes. So in the back here is a USB-C that powers that USB port, and I'm going to use my little power pack to power it up. And I have a ring light here, and that ring light plugs into a USB. So we're going to see if we can turn this light on using this port. So there you go. That port works. If you wanted to, something like a Cigar Oasis, or if you wanted to put a fan in there or more lights, you could do it. Now, because the way this sits, the drawer goes flush against this, so you're going to have to buy one of those USB ribbons where that sit flush and then come up, and I'll put like a picture of what I'm talking about on the video. But because that drawer sits flush, you're going to have one of those ribbons to use that port. All right, so we'll move on to see what we can do with cigar count. All right, guys, I'm back. Now, first we're going to check the secondary humidor that came in this, and this was a pretty cool idea. You got a really large humidor, and they kind of set this one drawer up so it can be its own secondary humidor. Again, that's great if you just like smoke infused cigars, so you can keep them separate from your others. So we're going to get an idea of what this one can hold. I've got a bunch of Toros here, and I've got some Churchills. So we're just going to go through this and let's see what we get. Okay guys, so I got varying sizes here and different ring gauges, and I've got 30 in here. So I was able to sit 2 rows of 14, and then I got a couple of little Robustos I got in here. Now some of the cigars are longer, and that prevented me from getting a few more in, but 30 is a pretty solid number for this little drawer here. And the lid still sits flush. So you know, for that secondary humidor, which is a little smaller than the major drawers, you can fit around 30 cigars when you're doing that Toro size. So that's nice. Nice for a little secondary humidor. I really like that idea. Okay, now we're going to check out the larger primary drawers, and man, the walls on these are so thick, such thick Spanish cedar. I love this drawer. So we're going to see what we can get in here. Okay guys, wow. So I've got 55 cigars around the Toro size in here, and I got an additional 15 Robusto. So once I kind of put these here, another Toro size wouldn't fit along there, but the Robustos went in there perfect. So 55 Toros with a 15 Robustos. That's a lot of cigars in one drawer. Okay, you can see that that fits with all those cigars in it, and there's just a little bit of room, but you couldn't stack another row on top of that. So 55 Toros times 4 drawers, that's about 220 Toros. The 15 Robustos gives you another 60. So 280 cigars, and we fit 30 in here. So we're like at 310 cigars, mixed Toro and Robusto. Sizes around those sizes. They weren't exactly Toros. Some were 6.5, some were 6, but you get the idea. And they're different ring gauges. So about 320 or 310 is a good number, I think, what would realistically fit in here with the cigars most people have. All right, so pretty good capacity there. All right, now I am going to put all this away, and I'll be back with my final thoughts. Final thoughts. Marvero has done it again. This is the second humidor that I've tested from them, and both have been great. It has a lot of the features that I really like that are pretty much standard. I like a door that opens a full 180. I like a good solid construction, a nice heft to it that you can tell it's quality materials. I like the fact that the lights are on the side instead of the top, so it's not blocked by the drawers and the cigars. The fact that it uses a battery pack instead of being plugged in. And on top of that, in this particular one, some of the innovations that they've installed. The fact that it has a secondary humidor inside, so you can store like your infused cigars. The fact that it has that USB port where if I want to use like a Cigar Oasis or one of those electronic humidifiers I can, or I want to install more lights or a fan and run it from inside the humidor. Fantastic. So altogether, Marvero has just done a great job with this humidor, and this is probably now my favorite wooden humidor that I've reviewed. Not just because it holds more cigars, but just the innovation and the quality of the craftsmanship. The fact that the door suctions shut when you push it. I mean, it's just great fit and finish on this. It's really, really nice looking. There's just like nothing bad for me to say about this humidor. Now, this does run about $269, but Marvero has given us a 10% off code, and I will have that code. I'll put it here on the screen, and I will also put it down in the description along with the link to this humidor. So if you're interested in buying one, you can get 10% off, and that 10% off code will be good until December 31st of this year. So you've got a few months to get it. Maybe you want to get someone a gift, Christmas present, whatever. If they need something that'll hold 300 plus cigars, this is a good way to go for sure. Especially if you want that nice classic wooden humidor look and feel. Now, Marvero has been kind enough to not only give us a 10% off code, but they also are going to sponsor a giveaway. So they're not going to be giving away one of these, but they're going to give away another of their humidors. They're actually going to give away one of their Mega humidors. Now the Mega humidor is a different size than this one. It's actually the one between this and this. So this was the Prolux humidor that I did the review on before. Great little humidor, holds about 120 cigars or so. This is the new deluxe cabinet humidor, and the one that fits in between these, the Mega Humidor, is going to be on a giveaway. And I'll put a picture of that up here and a link to it also, so you can check it out. But it is rated to hold about 300 cigars, which means really more like 2 to 250 or so. So here's how you enter for a chance to win that humidor. You have to, 1, be a subscriber, 2, hit that thumbs up, give us a like, and 3, go down in the description and fill out the form. And on one of my lives, I'll be drawing the winner. I'll have the dates for when I'm going to end the entry into the giveaway and the date for the live where I will be drawing the winner. So there you go. The Marvero 500 count cabinet humidor. Very, very nice piece. I can't speak highly enough of this company. They're doing really good things. I like the fact that they've had some innovations where they're really, I think, in touch kind of with the cigar community. They're putting some things in here that I don't see other companies doing, and I really like that. So I'm looking forward to see what they have in the future. But until next time, remember, the best bourbon or whiskey, cigar or humidor, is the one you like you most.